Cigar Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
Yes, he's back.
I'm back. It's the man behind the mask.
It's the man behind the mask. I found that song's great.
Man, I bought a CD many years ago from Big Lots that it was like 80s Halloween hits, and it had so much like Alice in Chains, Twisted Sister, like so many classics. Like I could just put that CD on and hit play and just be in, hair metal heaven.
Well, since again you didn't bring no cigars, I'm smoking the LFD La Nox, aka the Night in Latin. This thing has a Brazilian wrapper over San Andreas binder and a blend of Dominican tobaccos.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I smoked a La Nox, but I smoked one a long time ago because I've always liked that blue, purplish, kind of label. And as dark as that cigar is, it just creates an awesome contrast.
Oh yeah, it's so black, it's almost like oily. Which it's been a long time since I've had one of these. I'm not remembering but yeah, it's definitely on the full, at least high, medium, plus side of things, with that Brazilian Maduro and San Andreas as a binder, which I've not seen many people using San Andreas for a binder.
It's black and oily. They should call it the Diddy. Too soon?
Maybe. But if you've got to fight off Diddy, you should call in the Strike Force. StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use your promo code CigarNerds for 20% off your order. Get all caffeinated up. It'll help you, run away.
Less than 2 minutes in, and...
Yeah, it's okay. We're not monetized.
And this is why.
Oh.
Johnson & Johnson, how much did your stocks go down?
Stocks probably went up, yeah. Everyone's like, oh shit, that's that Diddy brand baby oil.
Yeah, but he's not buying the truckloads anymore.
Oh yeah, they've lost a big company.
And that's what we got for you this weekend.
Sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. Oh, but yeah, we've that's all we got. We're gonna we hadn't even talked about what we're talking about. I got distracted by Diddy oil. So we're going to discuss a sequel to a movie that we initially liked, but we'll see if we like the second one. We're talking about The Old Guard 2, which sounds like antiperspirant.
Yeah, The Old Guard, new and improved. Now with
less Diddy oil.
Antiperspirants.
Yeah. It's the other immortal movie without Duncan MacLeod.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to get into the film because I'm not sure where we're going to land when we start talking about
We're
this.
either going to like it or we're going to rip it. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. We're going to be talking about The Old Guard with my trailer voice. Yeah, 2, the second one.
You should get an AI voice.
I don't know. I've been watching a lot of those AI Bigfoot and Yeti videos.
Speaking of like Bigfoot and stuff like that, I guess because we are in the foothills of Appalachia, but I found down a damn rabbit hole the last 5 or 6 nights, with the feral people of Appalachia and stuff like that on the trail, and the people going missing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, it always makes me think, we've always talked about going to the Sasquatch Museum, and we've yet to go to the Sasquatch Museum.
Yeah, I still need to do that.
As many times as we've driven by it and everything else, and
yeah, there's plenty of things like, hey, we should do that. And it's like, when are we going to do that? I don't know.
Well, we almost plan, and then
we're going to go on a train ride, too. We're just going to go look for Bigfoot, and then we're just going to go on a train ride.
What? You're going to run a train on Bigfoot?
Hey, I mean, you got to assert your dominance somehow. Oh.
Sounds like Bigfoot might need a guard.
An old guard. So yeah, we're talking about Old Guard 2, which is based on a comic book series. And the first one had generally positive reviews. We did an episode on the the first one, but it came out like 2020, I think. So,
I mean, that was the thing. Rachel's like, "Oh, what is this about?" And I'm like, I remember liking the first one, and I remember it involving immortals, but like the storyline and stuff like that was not fresh in my head.
No, it's like I didn't have time to rewatch the first one. I had to go through. I caught like bits and pieces of it. I think it was like on at the shop one day. I caught like just the tail end of it, but it was I had to like refresh my memory because it was so long between COVID and the writer strikes and shit. It's like it took a long time to get to part 2 of this, and they also switched directors. The first one was directed by Gina something or another. Prince Blythewood, yeah, and I liked it. Well, this one is because she apparently there was a scheduling conflict. She was already kind of working on another project, so Victoria Mahoney directed the second, and you can definitely tell there's a
difference. And I don't know if the difference in director is what was throwing me.
It definitely had a different
the tone
feel,
of it, and
tone.
the feel, and and it felt like there were a lot of inconsistencies throughout. But on the flip side of that, like the opening sequence with the action and the car chases and the gunfights and stuff, like action looked cool in that, and I was like, all right, I'm not ready to hate on it just yet, Yeah,
definitely it started off good. Like that opening sequence was much like the original, but then it like kind of bogged down in the middle.
Well, I think, I don't know,
we got hit with a lot of extra lore that they didn't provide us in the first one. Like in the first one, it's more like, yeah, we're immortal soldiers. We don't know why or how. We're just, we live forever, and we do random good at using our soldier skills to basically be mercenaries for good causes. Like every once in a while, someone becomes an immortal. Every once in a while, one of us like stops being immortal. Like, and then we get a whole like all kind of like suddenly there's another like immortal like librarian, and there's like the first immortal running around, and all this stuff may be stuff from the comic books. I've not read the comic books, but I'm hoping it was better written in the comic book version, because this one got kind of convoluted.
What it seemed to me was, if you didn't have time to bring back your original director after the success, it, to me, felt rushed and just a straight up, hey, we need to bank money off this, name.
Yeah, let's get
it. And it, without going into any, real spoilers, it.
That and like, all right, we'll give you a lot of the bad up front and then kind of circle back to the good, so we end on like a positive note. Time-wise, even though it's been 5 years in the real world, this is supposed to take place 6 months after the last film. Now, the character of Copeland, he was like a CIA analyst guy that basically was like had developed their history and stuff, and they're like, all right, well, now you're going to work for us, and you're going to make sure like kind of to cover our tracks better and also help us find the right missions that'll have the most effect. And then he's like right along there like slinging guns, and like, when did this like basically nerd researcher guy become an operator? It's only been 6 months, and this dude's like, in the fight with everybody else.
Well, I mean, 6 months of hardcore training, and as long as somebody else goes first that's immortal, like,
and then
I feel like my odds would be pretty successful. Like, if you were immortal, and I'm like, and you volunteer to go first, I'm like, hey, this guy's probably got it.
But the one going first was Andy, Charlie's third, and she lost her immortality, so she's kind of human at this point too. But she's like still the one like leading the fucking charge, even though she can like die at any moment. And then the character of Niley, who was the brand new immortal. I mean, she was a Marine corporal, I think, in the first one. So she is like a trained soldier, but I don't remember, fucking ninja sword training being part of the Marine Corps training. So like, it's only been 6 months, and now she's like a badass swordsman like everyone else on the team. It's like, okay.
Well, I mean, when
I can understand everyone else like having that preference of like, all right, we got machine guns and shit, but we're all carrying swords because that's like the very first weapon we picked up back in the day. So we've got literally centuries of experiences with a sword. But she's like a modern ass Marine. Like, why she's like, ooh, I want this like double knife bow staff thing. I want to be a ninja like the rest of you guys. It just seemed weird for it only being 6 months later. I mean, if we just like, hey, it's 100 years later, like she's had time to pick up new skills. Like, you're still the fucking rookie, and you're already like, ninja. How does this make sense?
6 months of nonstop training. You either get good or you die.
And then you just come back to life and do it again.
Unless that one person cuts you with a sword, then you're probably not coming back.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think for me, that's really where a lot of the disconnect, like, oh, well, you could be immortal, but you can lose the immortality, but then, if somebody can then gift you the immortality, but, how this whole process works, nobody quite seems to have it figured out.
So the immortal lore guy said, yeah, some of my research, like, apparently Nyla is this like legendary, apparently occasionally one of us is like a destroyer where if they cut you or injure you, they can remove your immortality. And that's why Andy is no longer immortal, because when she first went to retrieve Niles, she got stabbed. Before that, they're like, yeah, just like, sometimes without warning our immortality fades. We don't know why or when, it just happens. And then they're like, all right, now, yeah, here's why it happens. I'm like, okay. And then, he's like, but there's also like a legend that, a newly injured immortal can actually willingly give their immortality to somebody else. But they never even like show how that happens. Like Booker, who in the first movie kind of betrayed the team so they would get captured by this evil pharmaceutical manufacturer. He's like, maybe he can figure out a way to stop this because I'm tired of living and I can't kill myself because I'm a fucking immortal. So maybe they can find a cure for this so I can finally die. And they basically banished him. And but he's like, well, this may be my chance. I can save Andy and give her my immortality. And then now I can finally have my expiration date.
Well, I think one of the kind of the theories was, if you're an immortal, but you've got family, like, or whatever, kids, you can't, be like, okay, you're going to be immortal too, and blah, blah. So, some of that I could be like...
There's like a limited number of passes, so it's
exactly.
like I gotta pass my immortal card to somebody else.
Like, I could see...
The power can only sustain.
Not wanting to, go through all the heartbreak, whatever, emotions of watching your children die, knowing that, oh, I'm immortal and gonna live forever or whatever, but, like, the way that this went about all of that, like, realistically, moments that should have had big impacts, I could give two shits about the character because there wasn't enough arc or development or investment there for me to be like, oh, that was really impactful. Like, instead,
it's like Booker's just like, hey, let's spar, and then like gets cut, and it's like, I hope it's not healing it. Your theory worked, but then it doesn't show how he passes his immortality. It's not like, here, let me lay some of my blood on you, or say some kind of magic spell. It just kind of like looks in the mirror and kind of like, fucking wishes upon a star, I guess, because it never really until you see her get injured and not die, and him like, be like, look, I'm still injured. I've passed my shit to you. And it never explains like the mechanics of like how he did it. Just like, I'm just gonna have to make a wish, and it's gonna happen. There's no like special handshake or something to pass my immortality.
That's how we got the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
When you wish upon a star.
But yeah, I don't know. There was something severely lacking, like with the change of directors. Like things that should have been impactful just had no real weight to them.
Yeah, we were given a lot of. Well, I don't say a lot. Maybe like 3, like brand new characters that just not a whole lot of like. Yeah, this is a guy that saved me back 500 years ago. And now he's just been living in a tool shed in Korea collecting books. It's like, okay, you're now part of the team. It's kind of reminded me of was it? I can't remember his name. That one immortal from Highlander that was like the oldest immortal, and he kind of just gave up doing the whole thing and just kind of became like a immortal historian and stuff, and just documented. He pretty much started the Watchers, and
he's like, well, you stupid mortals, you can't figure this shit out because we haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah,
like even that would have been like, makes sense. So now you have a library and you're trying to build a history and document, and
yeah, and like Uma Thurman's character, who's Discord. Yeah, she steals a bunch of books, and it's like they never say what books she stole. Like, like he's like, oh yeah, the thing she stole like shows this special, like magical shit that'll destroy the world. It's like, nah, she just stole some books, and there's some stuff in it about you guys.
Well, but if in episode or I guess the third film, assuming that we get a third film,
perhaps
if we see Deadites, we'll know what book.
Yeah. Damn it, she got the Necronomicon. And that was like, we get introduced to Discord, who is apparently the very first immortal that we've never spoken of, because as far as we knew, Andy was the first immortal, but this lady was from way back in the day, and apparently she just, at least they allude to the fact that she'd kind of gotten disillusioned with humanity, and she had basically spent a couple centuries just being a gunrunner crime lord or something, and now she's got some kind of plan where she's gonna nuke everybody or something, and finds Quinlan, Andy's girlfriend that was accused of witchcraft and dumped in the ocean for the last 500 years.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see definitely going a little bit crazy.
Just being like, I can't die in this thing, but
you drowned, you wake up, you drowned again, you just keep healing and dying over and over and over again. In the darkness of the sea. Cruel mistress she is.
Yeah.
But I could have seen it being... Again, haven't read the comic books, so all this could be how it is in the comics. But in the post-credits of the first one, we get introduced to her meeting up with Booker. Somehow she got out of the Iron Maiden, which we see that, Discord's the one who finally found her.
I would think after so many years of being in the ocean, like, stuff would start rusting and...
But I expected to be...
Maybe technology evolves and...
And it would... Yeah, because, like... It's a big ocean. How'd you figure that? It's like fucking Andy's been... hadn't been able to find her, and it's like, this lady... and it was able to figure it out in the big vast ocean. But I thought from the way the first one ended, we would get like, she's back and she wants revenge because she blames Andy for not saving her. And we just get a whole, like, her being the big bad villain of the second story, where She's just kind of a henchman to Discord.
And I thought Discord was just there to bring people together so we could all chat and connect with the world. Huh.
Maybe she started Discord. I mean, she's been around for a long time. She could have picked up some, hacking skills. Hell, she could have invented. I was the first hacker. I taught acid burn and how to do everything.
From Trojan horses to Trojan worms.
5-pound gummy worms.
That's way too much.
Yes. Yes, it is. Apparently bulletproof, too.
Is it? I've never seen an actual ballistics video on the...
I can't remember if it was PewView or our fat electrician, but one of them, they shot some of those 5-pound gummy bears, and it stopped a lot of bullets. I guess they're just so dense that it's definitely like thicker than that whatever ballistics gel is. Like, it was surprising how little it took.
There's just so much sugar that
just... Yeah, it was crazy how like
caramelizes the bullet, the heat, and it's like
it's sticky. Yeah, it was surprising how easy it was to stop a bullet with a gummy bear.
So if all else fails, I just get a bunch of big ass gummy bears and strap to myself, and
you just make a plate carrier of gummy bears. But then you just gotta make sure you stay cold, because if it gets hot, they melt.
And you gotta watch out for ants. Yeah.
I mean, it might work for emergency, but it's not gonna last very long.
Oh, wouldn't that be like a fucking torturous thing? Like, just strap a bunch of like sugary gummy bear and just like leave somebody chained to a fucking tree to let the insects.
Oh yeah, I want to see that in a horror movie now. You just like strap somebody down and leave a gummy bear on their chest to attract ants.
Why am I not directing horror films? Because people would be like, Attack of the Killer Gummies?
Just sitting strapped down, looking into the dead cold eyes of a gummy bear as you're slowly eaten alive by ants.
Oh. Wasn't there like a 70s horror movie where like the ants were like 6 feet tall or something, like running around? Wasn't it entitled Ants?
Possibly.
I felt like that was a thing. Like, I remember there being one rats, one ants.
Yeah, they've
then there was one with like a giant killer bunny.
Attack of the Killer Bunny.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
Zombievers.
God, if I could go back and just find some of these old VHSs and stuff.
River Dancing Vampires.
That'll be a future episode, I think.
Well, that and I don't know if you didn't notice, the first one looked like I don't know if they had a different director of photography or whatever, but the first one looked like they shot it on location in like the real world. Everything was kind of like gritty. Where this one, everything looked like a set to me. I mean, except for there's like, that opening kind of sequence and stuff that looked like it was shot somewhere, but there was a lot of that where it's just like everything looks just too, I don't know, it just had like a different like kind of look to it where it didn't look nearly as detailed as the first one.
Well, I mean,
especially like the final
is, like two
nuclear,
where they go in like, so you brought up the nuclear facility. You know what is probably one of the most heavily guarded things in the world? A nuclear facility.
Yeah.
You know what wasn't there? Literally any opposition. They're just able to go in and start planning charges and, just fucking
they like
take control of this thing. Like,
it's like every single guard was at that one gate they they killed. Which, I mean, if it's that driving the, I'm not sure what kind of truck it was, but it was kind of like a semi truck military transport vehicle into the break-proof gate, and then just like the freaking cab of that thing just like coming off and her going flying through the window. But yeah.
Well, rule number 1, seatbelts. Or is that rule like 2 or 3? Somewhere in, the...
I thought rule number 1 was cardio.
Yeah, that is. But very high on that list of seatbelts. That would have prevented that.
Yeah, but the way that thing smashed, I was not expecting that. I'm like, all right, that looks pretty cool. And, if you're, an immortal, I guess you don't have to be sneaky. I think even Andy's character, like, even says at one point, like, sometimes fast and violence better than subtle. Sometimes fast is better than subtle, and they definitely went with, like, the fast approach. That's another thing, too, that annoyed me, is when Andy and her team goes to the nuclear place to, like, try to stop whatever plot she's got going on. They all just, there's like, in the first movie, they were these are like thousands of year old soldiers. They were very tactical in their movements and gun handling and stuff. And in this one, they just all show up on motorcycles right up to the front door and get out with pistols. I'm like, pistols are like your secondary weapon. Especially if you're a fucking soldier and you're going to get into a fight, you're going in with some kind of like long gun.
Well, no, they went in and they're like, oh, they want to do hand to hand. Like
we're afraid to shoot guns and blow this place up, that we're here to blow up. The whole, like, y'all don't want to fire guns in there because it's going to set off the nukes. And it's like, that was their whole point of being here. So those guys shouldn't have given a fuck. I can understand Andy and her team, like, swords only. We don't want to accidentally set anything off. But everyone else probably should have been shooting the fuck out of them.
I don't know. Is there enough damage that even if you are immortal, that is like, I can't come back from this?
Well, they tell that one joke of, like, I think it's when they're going into the they send Nikki and Joe into the to kind of as a distraction to, like, lead away a bunch of the opposition before they raid, like, the first kind of gun dealer's house. And they're like, she's like, go in through the hedge maze, and they start laughing. She's like, it's not going to be like 1853. And they're like, she's like, what happened in 1853? Booker got his head shot off by a cannon, and we couldn't find his head. It was somewhere in this hedge maze, and he couldn't help us because, his body wasn't attached. So we had to search through this maze to find his head to reattach it. So there's probably like a level of damage that it may not kill you, but it will definitely slow you down for a while you regenerate. Like when Deadpool gets cut in half and he ends up with the baby legs.
This film, I think, took itself way too seriously for those kind of shenanigans anyway. Dude, do we have an earthquake or something? Like, none of these mics are wanting to stay in place today. What is happening?
I don't know. It's like everything's like it's all shaking.
Is it because we're ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
Like,
we gotta have like just extra problems since it's we're like banking shit so we can actually have a summer break. And like this Charlize's character was just super flat this time around. Like, she seemed to have more emotion in the first movie, where this one is just like, this very much like, I'm human now, and I'm not going to get really excited about anything.
That's kind of how I felt across the board, though, with all the characters. Like,
yeah, it wasn't as much.
There wasn't any that I was invested in. Like I said, when homeboy sacrifices himself, and like that should have had some kind of impact, or but instead it's just like, oh, he did this thing and now she's immortal again. Like no impact, no resonating anything, just a whole lot of just passing the buck along.
Yeah, I mean, that first action sequence felt like it was directed by somebody else.
And it probably was.
Like, that first whole big action set piece that started off the movie was kind of incongruent with, like, how the rest of the movie felt. It starts off great, and then it gets super like weak in the middle, and then we get another like big actiony sequence as they try to take over the nuke place.
I think this would have made a better video game than what it did a movie. You know, it had all the video game tropes that we talk about, including the helicopter final boss fight.
Yeah, the final thing, because every game's got a helicopter level, and sure enough, we find out Andy and her team goes into the nuke place and gets everyone except for Andy, Niles, and Booker immediately get caught, and they hit them with those like fire suppression things. So they get frozen, and then they get vacuum sealed in bags, I guess for freshness.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe that wasn't part of the reasoning for taking the nuclear place. Was maybe they had, like, I mean, really anybody that does frozen cryogenics, like, could have had that same effect, I feel like.
That, and I assume that, like, I don't know, maybe the freezing them and then vacuum packing them, like, there's no oxygen, so they can't heal themselves and break out. Like, even if they, like, you know, their injuries heal, there's no oxygen, so they're just going to keep, like, basically suffocating before they can make any real escape. But we find out, like, instead of, like, you know, Discord is not actually trying to blow up the world and punish humanity. It's like, oh, I've lost my immortality somewhere along the way, so I want to use Niles' powers to force one of the other immortals to give me their immortality.
But that goes against the rules, though, because it can't be forced. It has to be given. So, like, if you
maybe she didn't
torture something else, like that's one of the huge contradictions that I have. It's like, wait, this goes against that whole premise.
Yeah, Tua said it has to be like voluntarily given, and if you try to torture it out of them, and she's like, you know, there's ways to persuade people. I don't know if it's like, you know, all right, we're just gonna like keep killing, you know,
well, I figure
one of them until the other one agrees.
At that point, that's where, you know, it'd be like, well, instead of capturing other immortals, like, wouldn't you go after family? Wouldn't you go after people they cared about or something?
Well, with the exception of Niles, the rest of them's been around long enough they don't really have any family other than each other.
They've got so much lineage.
I know. They never mentioned having kids or anything, so I don't know if these immortals like are maybe. Because I think that was a thing in like the Highlander that like, once you became immortal, you were like, you know, not.
You had to do a vow of celibacy.
No, but you were what's that word? Not non-fertile. You couldn't have kids once you became an immortal. It's not impotent. It's whatever. Because Duncan MacLeod was fucking a lot of bitches, but yeah, he's
abstinent.
He wasn't.
Yeah, that wasn't abstinence either.
Well, I mean, she's got Nikki and Joe. She could, like, if she could force Niles into, like, taking one of them's immortality, then it'd be like, I'm going to kill your boyfriend unless you give me your immortality. And maybe that's her big plan. But, yeah, it does seem kind of convoluted since they already established that you have to willingly give your immortality to another person. You can't just, like, take it from them. Unless there's something in one of those books she stole that contradicts that, so... Who knows? But yeah, based on the rules they set, I'm like, this plan doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think this would have been better. Like, I kind of felt like the nuclear facility thing, like you were going, you know, said the set pieces, like, wouldn't it be easier to catch them or, you know, something one-off, like, not, yeah, let's get a whole team, you know, in this one central location, and
then again, like, they already stated that they're hard to find, because it's like, you know, she originally kidnaps Booker to, like, tell me where Andy's at, because he's like, I don't know, they banished me for, like, I'm not supposed to talk to them for like 100 years. Like, I can't find them. They're like, bullshit, you can find them. So maybe it's like we can't. They're too good at hiding that we can't just find them and take them. We've got to basically create a threat big enough that they'll be like, all right, we have to stop this. And that's like the only way they can get them where they want them to be, where they can
be like, yes,
we're
going to knowingly go into this trap because that's the best thing we can do at this time.
Yeah. And immediately, her and Andy get a nice, fight there, but eventually she gets the upper hand and she's, going to jump on you failed the helicopter mission. I'm leaving now. We're your homies. She's like, I'll find you. And she's like, when you do, I will be immortal again and the playing field will be level. I mean, what? And in this world too, other than they've introduced the fact that Niall can remove somebody's immortality, it's not like in the Highlander where if like you cut someone's head off, that they die. How are two immortals going to kill each other without like the help of that, one immortal that has the life-stealing power? It's going to be like Deadpool and Wolverine in the fucking hatchback. They're just going to beat the fuck out of each other till they get tired.
Yeah, I don't know. And sadly, I'm not sure that Netflix does either.
No, it's like, we got no plan. It's kind of like the last three like main Star Wars movies. Like the first movie was done by one director and the last movie was done by one director, and then the middle was like done by somebody else, and his movie just like is like the worst out of the three. It's like the first guy's like, I've got a plan, and then the second guy's like, fuck your plan, I'm gonna do what I want. And then then they come back and he's like, fuck, now how do I get it back on my plan and undo all the bullshit this fucker did in the last movie? So maybe the original director will come back for the third one and actually figure out a way to land this mess. If even Netflix goes that far, because it's like, this one didn't do well.
And maybe that's the strategy, is, make this third one, if it's going to be the final one, a resounding success.
So yeah, it's like, we set the bar too high, we need to lower the bar.
Just fucking temper that expectation to the fucking floor, and anything that we get in the future is going to be like, yes, they did it.
They successfully landed the ship. Oh. Yeah, it's like...
And sadly, that's the mindset that I'm going to go into if we do, in fact, get a third one, is like...
What was the last movie There was something that we saw that it was like... I'm going to see this because, like... kind of have to, but, like, the last movie sucked so hard that my expectations are, like, pretty fucking low, and then it's like... Oh, this movie was amazing, and I don't know if it's amazing or if it's just my expectations were so low because of the previous films.
I can't recall.
I can't remember. There was something that we watched. There was like, I didn't expect it to be good because the previous one wasn't, or in the franchise wasn't very good. And it's like, oh yeah, this one's actually pretty they did a good job of this. It was like, I just don't know if the bar was so low that I was like super impressed from what they had done previously.
We've watched so much.
Yeah. And my watch list is there's a bunch of crap. We're hitting that summertime movie where it's like not only in theaters but streaming has been like a ton of shit dropping in this month.
Have you watched the new season of Squid Games yet?
I haven't even watched season 2 of Squid Games.
Okay.
Have you watched any of it?
I did, just because Rachel was watching it. Like that's how TV operates in my house. She watches all the TV. If it's something not Love Island that maybe I can give a shit about, like I'll catch it in between.
First one was great. The second one, I think I made it like 3 or 4 episodes in, and I just like never went back. So I think I watched up into the point where he re-enlisted in the game, and then like I didn't watch anything like I didn't see any of like the new games. But I was like, the show's called Squid Games, and we got like 3-4 episodes with no games.
I think this new season
Is all games.
is pretty much all.
Yeah, I think like
all
season
games,
3 is kind
like-
of just a continuation of what was going on. They didn't really wrap it up in season 2, but yeah, I didn't finish season 2, so how was it? Should I go back and actually like finish it?
I just didn't know if you had even watched or were interested. I'm just, one, trying to fill time. Two, trying to think about, hey, what can we do for future content?
Well, there's in my queue to watch, we've got
and I need to see Jurassic Park.
yeah, because that just came out.
Regardless of what direction or what, that's probably my guilty pleasure franchise. That's like,
Yeah.
it can be so good and then not be.
Yeah, haven't made it out yet for that, so I need to go see that at some point. Fubar season 2's out. I've been watching Fubar, and I'm like halfway through. I think I got 2 more episodes of Fubar, and I halfway through Ironheart, which, man, I don't. Oh, the way they didn't do week to week this time. They dropped 3. It's only like a 6-episode season. They dropped the first 3 episodes one week, and the second half of the season the next week. And I've not got around to. I started during that week off. I started watching Fubar, so I haven't gone back to watch the last 3 episodes of Ironheart. But it's like the first 3 episodes were fun, but they weren't great, and there's definitely some weird story issues. So I'm like, I don't know if the second half may like make it all make sense and be good, but as far as like the first half, I'm just like, man, I don't know if it's an episode worthy. I'll let you know after I go back and watch the last 3 episodes. But Fubar's been pretty funny. I mean, season 1 of that we talked about, and it was good. So I'm like almost done with season 2. Yeah, that's my sentiment on this show as well.
No, it has everything. Like, it's always amazing to me, some things that we can watch and they'll be like 30 minutes and we could talk hours on end about that 30 minutes, and then it's like, this was an hour and 46 minutes long.
Yeah, and it's
like, I don't know. I wanted to do this episode because, like, reviews were kind of all over the place, and I'm like, maybe we can form a different opinion. Maybe we'll see it at a different light, because oftentimes we watch shit that gets tanked on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like, oh no, they were just looking for a political message or, something else, and
it was woke, so we're not going to see it. But then sometimes they're right, because Alkalite sucked. Despite it's like, I have nothing against the wokeness. I don't care about space lesbians, but this thing was just horribly written.
Love space lesbians. Out of this world.
And everything else that, all the other shows they've done have been pretty good. But yeah, that one was just a little weak. It was definitely not the... it was the old guard 2 of Star Wars shows. Oh.
And I mean, by and large, most of the shows have been, pretty good. Like, I've liked a lot of the one-offs, better than I have the main films, that are supposed to be the big draw. And it's like, let's stop rehashing the same story. Like, you've got such a large sandbox. Like,
yeah. And typically, I guess they call it the sophomore slump. A lot of trilogies, the middle part is always the kind of weakest link, and this one more so. And then we get like a cliffhanger ending. Like the first one, they pretty much wrapped up that story pretty good, and then gave us a little teaser at the end of like, hey, the story continues. Where this one leaves with like a straight up, this is the Empire Strikes Back. I mean, it leaves with a straight up, freaking cliffhanger where the team is all captured. She's by herself, but she has gotten her her water witch girlfriend back. She's no longer mad at her, but now she's also human. But now they got to go save the team.
Well, at least it's not Luke stuck on an island.
No. It's like Han gets frozen in carbonite, taken away by Boba Fett. Literally, the whole team got frozen and taken away by Discord. It literally is The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my god, I did not put that together.
I didn't until just now.
Oh, and it resonates about with the same amount of the fuck.
I do like the joke at the end, like I said, once she kind of nurses her back to health and they're getting ready to go find the team, and she's like putting on like the sweet like leather, jacket and sword, and she's like, there's one thing I don't hate about this century. It's this look.
Have they started calling it swag yet?
That's the thing too. This lady has been out of the ocean for 6 months, and she's already like pretty well caught up on modern technology. It's like, I went in the ocean, we didn't have electricity, and now I'm like, breaking into like nuclear power plants. Like, what is nuclear power? It's like, yeah, why is she so like modern? Has she just been getting like
what would have been really funny though is all of her time spent in water, and then this final battle take place in like a dam.
She's like, fuck no, I'm afraid of water now. I'm not gonna go near the water. So we didn't have plumbing when I went into the ocean, and like now we got shitters, and it's like, well, the immortals have dreams about the other immortals, so maybe like this whole time she's been like, basically watching everyone else's lives like it's a fucking YouTube channel. It's like, so she comes out of the ocean like, I've been frozen for 500 years, but I know how all modern shit works. I can drive a car and whatnot because I've been watching y'all. But again, that's something that they never like explained.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I wanted to bring some positive points, but damn, you've just about killed any positivity that I could bring. Like,
I like that first.
Okay, minus the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes has passed. Now bring the positivity. We're ending on a positive note.
I did like the Discord and Andy like fight scene. I mean, that was some cool action. And then like when they actually start like fighting all the guys in the weird like nuclear place that looks like a convention center, the action stuff was good, but I don't think, and I had to rewatch the first one, I don't think there was as many action sequences in this one as there was the last one.
Definitely not.
But the action sequences they did were well choreographed, well executed. But there was just a lot of like downtime in between. I mean, when Andy first, reconnects with Kuin, and they get in a kung fu domestic in a Italian alley. That was a pretty cool fight, But yeah, there was a whole lot of like not explaining what's going on, and then a lot of like just exposition stuff between the fight sequences. But when they did an action sequence, it was like, all right, yeah, this is good. Y'all did a good job of.
I just kind of feel like with me, the action pieces were just too grand. I would have been much happier with some smaller pieces, and that type of stuff, instead of just, a beginning and an end, and those being the battle sequences.
Yeah, even if we have like small sequences, like just more of
like
them.
even the small piece where they're just sparring and stuff like that, I was like, all right, cool, they're still pulling off some pretty sweet moves, that sort of thing, but it's like, oh, that was it,
Yeah. That was pretty quick.
That's like, no wonder you're immortal. Y'all never, fight. The first one, I'm like, fuck yeah, Let's storm the castle.
But yeah, there was like, even though it's the same actors, it's like, yeah, it's definitely, I think, a change in directors because there was just less kind of
Well, I almost wonder,
emotion
like,
from everybody.
Did we get the same writers too, or with that director did we get different writers? Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure if the writers changed, but yeah, there was definitely more. I felt like more like just emotion and
I mean,
and, like,
you
depth
almost
to the characters.
Well, you
than
just
there was
felt
the,
invested. I felt like in the first, and here, like I said, moments that should have had
bigger impacts.
Impacts, just fell short.
Well, the first one was screenplay by Greg Rucka. I wonder if he's related to Rucka Ali. But then the second one is Greg Rucka and Sarah L. Walker. So they did have an additional writer on the second one. So maybe the scenes we liked were written by the original writer, and the rest of the shit was written by the new writer.
You're only seeing that because it's Sarah.
But again, I kind of want to find these comic books and see if the story is different in the comics versus what they've tried to do it on screen, or is the comics just as convoluted as this? Made me like, we've done the most comic accurate movie ever, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Well, maybe that could be an episode. Maybe maybe we can find these comics and actually read them. If there's not like 500 of them or something crazy. Because I did that with The Walking Dead, and I'm like, holy shit, like, the fucking Walking Dead drug stuff out for entire seasons that was literally like 3 pages in the... No, not even books, just literally pages in the fucking graphic novels.
Oh. So yeah, apparently there is 3 graphic novels: The Old Guard, Opening Fire, The Old Guard, Force Multiplied, and The Old Guard, Tales Through Time. Which the first one was 5 issues, the second series was 5 issues, and then the final. So it's like 20 comics.
Maybe there's a compendium out there somewhere that...
Probably. Usually release stuff like this in a... and like, the graphic novels where it's like, all right, they'll take an entire kind of, I guess, if you call them, season of Deadpool stories and put them into one large book after they've, been released in the month to month. To the Amazons.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm 16-book series on Kindle. Huh. I wish Audible did more comic book stuff. Like, I had a comic book viewer thing, like, where you could download comic book files and they would kind of display, the pages of the comic, but
yeah.
That was a little bit difficult to navigate at times. But apparently on Amazon you can get all 16 books for like $30 as a set and
digital version. Yeah, I think they also have them on Comixology, which is the kind of online. It's kind of like Kindle or Audible for comics.
Yeah.
Where it's like you just get digital copies. If you're more about reading the story than actually collecting the books, you can.
Well, I mean,
it's a good way to kind of
that's almost
read
everything now, though.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit! Have you seen the stuff? I never even got into Pokemon cards, but have you seen all the shit like with the scalpers and like, dude, that might as well be the new fucking currency of the U.S. right now. It
fucking
seems.
Pokemon's the new Bitcoin.
Like,
got to get that foil Charizard or whatever this.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like I said, I never got into that world, so I don't have a fucking clue.
How did you like the decor of the drug lord gun guy from that first battle sequence? I mean, I did like the neon 45 on the wall. Just everything's like, there's like a fucking like golden octopus statue. And there was some other statue that had like steampunk goggles on it and shit. I was like, I've seen those goggles.
Yeah. Then, I'm just going to grab this random sword off the wall, and magically it's an actual sword.
Yeah, this isn't like a truck stop fantasy store. They didn't get this at the dealer hall at Dragon Con. This is like a real sword. Sweet.
Makes me think about those Cold Steel videos, DVDs we used to watch.
It's like Amanda watched this. She's like, "What's up with all this weird ass shit?" I'm like, "This guy's supposed to be like an '80s style drug lord." It's did you ever watch Miami Vice? This is how all their houses looked back then.
I mean, you're next to the ocean. Of course, you gotta have a golden Cthulhu.
Tentacle. Oh, and I did like Joe and Nikki would be in the distraction. They steal the hot rods, and like he gets like the brand new like Dodge Viper, and he like jumps in like, I think it's like an old Porsche or something, and he can't get it cranked. He's like, "They're supposed to chase us, not catch us. Hurry it up."
But once it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know, the car chase sequences were actually pretty good. I felt like.
Yeah. Especially when they like just like freaking head-on collision. Like, it's like, we can survive anything. You're not gonna play a game of chicken with an immortal. It's like, oh fuck, this is gonna hurt, but walk it off. Oh yeah, he's fighting that guy with the knife and his thumb chopped off.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, where's my put my thumb back on. That's a interesting way to do immortality. So it's not like you don't like regenerate a new thumb like Deadpool. It's like, I gotta find my thumb and it'll reattach it as long as I. But if you get blown all the way up, I'm like, it's gonna like.
It's gonna take a lot of bits. It's
Yeah.
like freaking puzzle.
Put all the goo in a pile and hope it grows back together. He's like, hey guys, my left pinky toe's still missing. Can y'all go check the the exploded area and see if you can find it?
But I do think that's one thing that kind of separates this from the Deadpools, the Wolverines, that sort of thing. And I do wonder, like, if you were unable to find that appendage, like, maybe there's some but it may take months or whatever. It's not just going to be,
Or it's like
an instantaneous sort of heal.
Yeah, just the stump just heal up. He doesn't grow a new hand. It just the stump.
Like in that
up.
car chase scene where he's like dragging his foot or whatever, and
yeah, it's like fuck. I can't.
It's like, get in. Like, hold on.
Yeah, didn't quite make the jump. Got his ankle broke. Oh, or do you do like fucking what the hell's that other show with the vaults?
Are you talking about Fallout?
Yes, like the Fallout style, where you just got to find someone else's hand and let it grow. It's like, my hand got blown up. Let me just take this other dude's hand, and now he's got like a mismatched hand, where he stole homegirl's thumb and.
Don't worry about blood type or anything else. It all just it'll work itself out.
It's like, why you got a black hand all of a sudden? It's like, all I could find. There wasn't a lot of spare parts laying around. It's like, shit, I got two left hands. I got the wrong hand.
Or it's like, people have AI do, hey, do this picture of a person, and it's like, oh, they got feet for hands. Didn't quite get that right.
Yeah, some of the AI video stuff, it's like they still struggle with hands and stuff. That's usually a good way to tell if it's AI or not. Just look at the appendages. Well, I think that's all we can. Do you have anything good to say about this?
I would just say, for people on the fence, if you got nothing better to do, watch it. Create your own opinion.
If nothing else, like, it'll lower the bar, so hopefully you'll enjoy the third one better. Because I'm a kind of a completionist, even if it like the fucking Halloween films. The first one, like the new ones, the first one was great. The second one like sucked ass, but I'm like, the third one is probably also gonna suck ass, but I kind of have to watch it just because I've seen the other two. I was right, it did suck ass, but I was like, At least I know now. I'm a completionist. I gotta.
I mean, that's kind of how I am too with certain stuff. But I'm like,
it's like I feel like
you
I've
just
already
took
invested.
a series about Michael Myers and completely removed Michael Myers, and it's like,
Yeah, it's like there's certain things where it's like Alkalite I didn't like, but I had to watch it because it's Star Wars. It's like there's certain things I've invested so many hours of my life to that I'm like,
you're the root of the problem.
I still got to watch it just to see.
You keep giving
So I have the
views
story.
to things that suck. Stop doing that. If we all stop giving things views.
Yeah, my Disney algorithm is like fucked because I'm like, this sucks, but I have to finish it now.
Or what's worse is, like, sometimes I'll forget to sign out of my profile and Rachel will just jump on and I'm like, don't ever recommend this to me again. Like,
why do I have a bunch of fucking reality show bullshit?
I don't even know what she's watching now. Like, some kind of family comedy deal.
Fucking Real Housewives of Oklahoma or something. Well, we've given you our thoughts on this movie. Thoughts on this cigar? It's kind of like it's definitely strong. I like that. And it's kind of like gives a dark chocolate, maybe even a little nutty, a little dark chocolatey, maybe even a little black licoricheness to it. This might go good with some absinthe. Be a nice, yeah. I talk about pairing things with whiskey. This might be a good absinthe cigar. I'm pretty sure those Immortals been around long enough. They've drank some absinthe back in the day. Yeah, so there's my recommendation: LFD La Nox and some good absinthe.
That's an interesting combination.
You get drunk enough, you might actually enjoy this movie. But with
Whoa,
that,
maybe it'll make sense.
yes, that's why I was sober when I watched this. No, I wasn't. I was drinking wine, but yeah, maybe I just didn't have the right alcohol to make this make sense. But with that, we'll be right back with some science. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.